Imagine spending your entire life building something greater than yourself. You create new rules. You make a weak country powerful. You transform ordinary people into a force that can defeat stronger enemies. Everyone should remember you as a hero. But then, the same people who benefited from your success turn against you. Your achievements become your crime. Your reforms become the reason for your downfall. This is not a story about failure. It is a story about a man who changed history, but discovered a painful truth. You can change a country. You can change a system. But changing human nature is much harder. His name was Shang Yang. More than 2,000 years ago, China was divided into many competing states. They fought constantly. Powerful kingdoms dominated weaker ones. Among them was a small and struggling state called Qing. Most people believed Qing had no chance. Its army was weak. Its economy was behind. Its political system was full of corruption. Many leaders accepted this reality. They believed Qing is simply not strong enough. But one man saw something different. His name was Shang Yang. He was not a warrior. He was not born into a powerful family. His weapon was not a sword. It was an idea. He believed a country does not become powerful because of tradition. It becomes powerful because of discipline. At that time, many kingdoms were controlled by old families. Power belonged to nobles. Ordinary people had little opportunity. Shang Yang believed this system was the reason Qing remained weak. His idea was radical. Reward ability. Punish mistakes. Make everyone follow the same laws. Build a society where talent mattered more than family background. Many people hated this idea because change always threatens someone. Those who benefit from the old system usually fear a new one. When Shang Yang met Duke Xiao of Qing, he finally found someone willing to listen. The young ruler understood. If Qing continued the old way, it would eventually be destroyed. So he gave Shang Yang permission to reform the kingdom. But changing laws was easy. Changing people's behavior was much harder. The first challenge was trust. People did not believe the government. They thought, when should we believe these new rules? They will probably change again. Shang Yang knew something important. A system is only powerful when people believe it exists. So he created a public test. He placed a large wooden pole at the capital gate. Then he announced, anyone who moves this pole to another location will receive a great reward. People laughed. They thought it was a trick. Why would the government pay someone for such a simple task? Nobody moved. Shang Yang increased the reward. Still nobody moved. Finally, someone stepped forward. He moved the pole. Immediately, Shang Yang gave him the promised reward. The crowd was shocked. The government actually kept its word. This simple action sent a message. The new system was serious. Rules would be followed. Promises would be honored. But Shang Yang did not stop there. He introduced one reform after another. The old privileges of nobles disappeared. The military rewarded achievement instead of family name. Farmers and soldiers gained new opportunities. Qing began changing rapidly. The kingdom became stronger. Its enemies began to fear it. But there was a hidden problem. The same reforms that created Qing's power also created many enemies. After Shang Yang's reforms began, Shen slowly became a different kingdom. The changes were not only written on paper. They changed the lives of ordinary people. Before the reforms, many soldiers fought because they had no choice. But now, military achievements could bring rewards. A farmer's son could rise through the ranks. A person without a powerful family could gain recognition. For the first time, ability mattered more than birth. The results were extraordinary. Chen's army became stronger. Its government became more organized. Its economy improved. Other kingdoms began to notice. A country that everyone once ignored was becoming a serious threat. But success always creates the question: who benefits and who loses? Because every major change creates winners and creates people who feel they have lost something. The old nobles of Theian were furious. For generations, they had enjoyed special privileges. Their family names gave them power. Their position protected them. But Xiangyang's reforms challenged everything. A talented soldier from a poor family could now rise above someone born into wealth. To Shanyang, this was fairness. To the nobles, this was a disaster. They believed the old world is being destroyed. They began spreading criticism. He has taken away our traditions. He has made people afraid. He only knows punishment. He does not understand human feelings. And there was some truth hidden inside their complaints, because Xiangyang believed strongly in rules. Very strongly. He believed that a country needed strict laws to become powerful. But strict systems always have a cost. They create order, but they can also create fear. As Qing became stronger, Xiangyang became more powerful. His ideas shaped the entire kingdom. His influence was enormous, but something unexpected happened. The more successful he became, the more isolated he became. People respected his achievements, but few people truly trusted him. Because changing a system is not only about creating new rules, it is about managing human emotions. Xiangyang focused on one question: how can we make Qing powerful? But he may have paid less attention to another question: how will people feel when their world changes? This is a problem many leaders face. A CEO enters a company and says, "We need a completely new system." The company becomes more efficient. Profits increase. But employees feel ignored. They think, the company only cares about results. A manager introduces strict rules. Performance improves. But the team loses motivation. Why? Because humans are not machines. People don't only need logic. They also need trust. They need respect. They need to feel they are part of the change. Years passed. Flynn continued growing stronger. Xiangyang's reforms were considered successful, but his enemies never disappeared. They waited. They remembered every privilege they had lost, every position they had given up, every change they hated. Then fate created the perfect opportunity. Duke Suil of Qin died. The ruler who protected Xiangyang was gone. A new king came to power, and suddenly, the man who had changed Qing no longer had his strongest supporter. The people who had remained silent for years finally saw their chance. They went to the new ruler. They accused Xiangyang of many crimes. They said, "He has too much power. His laws are too cruel. He has made too many enemies." The new king listened, and slowly, the protection around Xiangyang began to disappear. For years, Xiangyang had believed in one idea: a strong system could change a weak country. And he was right. He transformed Qing. He created the foundation for one of the most powerful kingdoms in history. But he forgot one dangerous truth. A system can control people's actions, but it cannot control people's hearts. The man who understood laws better than anyone was about to discover something laws could not protect him from: human nature. For many years, Xiangyang believed one thing: if the laws were strong enough, the kingdom would become strong enough, and history proved him right. Qing was no longer the weak kingdom that everyone ignored. Its army was powerful. Its government was organized. Its enemies were afraid. But there was one thing Xiangyang depended on more than he realized: the protection of one man, Duke Xiao, the ruler who believed in his vision, the ruler who gave him the authority to transform Qin. Then one day, Duke Xiao died, and everything changed. the new ruler came to power. Suddenly, Xiangyang was no longer the man who created change. He became the symbol of everything people hated about that change. The nobles who had lost their privileges returned. The people who feared his strict laws spoke louder. The enemies had created over many years finally had the opportunity they had been waiting for. The new king ordered Xiangyang to be arrested. When the news arrived, Xiangyang understood something terrifying. The same laws he created were now being used against him. He had designed a system where no one was above the law, not nobles, not officials, not even powerful people. And now he was facing that system himself. Xiangyang escaped. He left the capital and searched for a place to hide. He arrived at an inn, exhausted, desperate. He asked for a room, but the innkeeper refused. "Do you have identification?" Xiangyang answered. "No." The innkeeper shook his head. "Then I cannot accept you. Our laws are clear. No identification means no accommodation." Xiangyang stood there silently because he knew exactly what had happened. The strict rules he created had become so deeply rooted that even in his moment of desperation, they continued operating. The system did not recognize his name. It did not care about his achievements. It only followed the rules. For the first time, Xiangyang experienced the power of his own creation from the other side. The law that once gave him control now controlled him. Xiangyang continued running. He wandered to leave Qing. He reached another kingdom. He hoped to find safety. But another problem appeared. The world knew his name. They knew he was the man who transformed Qin. They knew Qin had become dangerous because of his reforms. Other rulers feared him. They did not see him as a simple traveler. They saw him as a threat. A person can spend years building a reputation, but once a reputation is created, it becomes difficult to escape. People no longer see who you are today. They see the image they have created of you. Eventually, Xiangyang was captured. The man who once held enormous power was now powerless. The man who changed the future of Qin could not change his own fate. Xiangyang was brought back to Qin. The punishment was severe. The kingdom he helped strengthen became the place where he met his end. But history remembers something complicated about him. He was not simply a hero. He was not simply a villain. He was a man with a powerful vision and a dangerous weakness. He understood systems. He understood laws. He understood power. But perhaps he underestimated one thing: human emotions. He believed if the rules are strong enough, people will follow. But people are not only guided by rules. They are guided by feelings, by pride, by fear, by loyalty, by resentment. Xiangyang changed Qin, but he could not change human nature. Thousands of years later, people still debate Xiangyang. Was he a genius, a ruthless reformer, a visionary, or someone who achieved greatness but paid a terrible price? Perhaps the answer is more complicated, because the same qualities that helped him succeed also created the conditions for his downfall. At first glance, the story of Xiangyang seems like a story about politics, a reformer, a kingdom, a struggle for power. But underneath all of that, it is actually a story about something every person faces: change. Everyone wants a better future. We want better careers, better relationships, better lives. But there is one uncomfortable truth. People love the results of change, but they often hate the process of change. A company wants higher profits, but employees may resist new systems. A person wants success, but they may resist learning new skills. A society wants improvement, but people often protect the habits that keep them comfortable. This is the contradiction of human nature. We want tomorrow to be different, but we often want today to remain the same. Xiang Yang understood something most people ignored. A weak system creates weak results. He knew Qin needed discipline. He knew talent needed opportunities. He knew old traditions could prevent progress. And he was right. But he made one critical mistake. He believed changing rules was enough. But humans are not machines following instructions. A system may control behavior, but it cannot automatically create loyalty. A rule can force someone to obey, but it cannot force someone to trust. This lesson appears everywhere today. Imagine a company with a new CEO. The CEO arrives and says, everything must change. New rules, new goals, new methods. The company becomes more efficient, but employees feel ignored. They think we are just numbers. We are not part of this future. The leader may be correct, but being correct is not always enough. People don't only follow ideas, they follow people they trust. This is why many talented leaders fail, not because their ideas are wrong, but because they forget the human side of change. A great leader asks two questions. The first, what needs to change? The second, how will people experience this change? The first question creates results. The second creates support. Without both, even good ideas can fail. This applies not only to leaders, it applies to everyone. Maybe you are trying to change yourself. You want to become healthier, more successful, more disciplined, but suddenly you create impossible rules. No more mistakes. I must change immediately. I cannot fail. Then one failure happens, and you give up. Real change is not only about creating strict rules. It is about understanding yourself. Improvement requires discipline, but it also requires patience. Lesson 1. A great idea needs human understanding. A smart plan can fail if people feel ignored. Never forget, behind every system, there are human beings. Lesson 2. Success creates enemies. When you create change, not everyone will celebrate. Some people lose comfort. Some people lose advantages. Resistance does not always mean you are wrong. Sometimes it means you are challenging something old. Lesson 3. Do not build something that controls you. Xiang Yang created powerful laws, but those laws eventually became his prison. In modern life, people create similar traps. Money that controls them, a career that traps them, a reputation they cannot escape, a lifestyle they no longer enjoy. The things we build should serve us, not become our masters. Xiang Yang changed Qin forever. His reforms helped create one of the strongest kingdoms in ancient China. Without his ideas, history might have looked completely different. But his story leaves us with a warning. Changing the world is difficult. Changing people is even harder. And perhaps the hardest person to change is ourselves. Because real wisdom is not only knowing how to build, it is knowing how to balance. Strength with kindness, roles with understanding, ambition with humility. The world needs people who create change, but the world also needs people who understand the hearts of those affected by that change. Welcome to Human Nature Chronicles. Here we explore ancient stories, forgotten moments in history, and timeless lessons about human behavior. Because the names may change, the countries may change, the technology may change, but human nature remains surprisingly similar. The struggles people faced thousands of years ago are often the same struggles we face today. Ambition, fear, pride, change, and the search for a better life. If this story gave you a different perspective, consider subscribing. Every week, we uncover another story from history and discover the hidden lessons that can help us understand ourselves better. Thank you for watching. Remember, the greatest challenge is not changing the world around you. It is understanding the people inside it.